What's going on? I'm David, this is Spencer, and this is Aftermath. Welcome back to Aftermath, the sportscast where we cover the 912 area. We just got done. We're actually going into week 10. We got a buttload of games, but a few things before we hop into that. First things first, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Follow us on Instagram. We just hit 2K.
Yep.
Big deal for us. We've been working a long time for that. We appreciate all the love, all the shares, all the DMs and Instagram making us feel like we were welcome here. But going off the welcome thing, we just got done with a meeting with SEC PSS. If you don't know that, it is a school board of Savannah. They're not insanely happy with the videos that we've been posting recently, so we are going to talk about that for a second.
Man, this is crazy. Yeah, so if you watch the video that I posted last, the Jenkins-Windsor JV video, clearly y'all saw the fight that broke out at the end. And clearly the board of the athletic department was not happy about that I posted that video. Said we're putting out a negative light on them and just the Chatham County sports as a whole, which is true. Like, y'all shouldn't be fighting. We said that after the Islands video, the BC video, what happened in the stands. We weren't at the Savannah High game, but even after that Savannah High fight happened, we even talked about it on here. Like, it's football. I get it. It's a violent sport. Things get physical. We played it. We know it.
Say we've been in fights.
It's between the whistles. Once the whistles are blown, we gotta stop. We gotta pull. Like, if something happens, if I was to see him getting in something, that's my brother. Like, you gotta go pull him away. Don't let him keep going, because it's just gonna keep egging on, and then boom, a fight's gonna break out. Like, y'all have to know, like, protect your brothers, protect your team, protect yourselves. Like, y'all have helmets on. Why are y'all throwing punches? Y'all aren't landing punches on people. Like, it's not, and if you take your helmet off and you're swinging it, then who knows what could happen. So just like, we got to stop that. But we had a meeting.
So as of right now, we don't know if we're going to be able to go to the games this week. They're wanting to take us off the sideline. A few things I want to mention. This is coming from two people that played football. We get it, bro. We get it. But let me put it this way. If you want to lose a scholarship or a commitment faster than anything, lose your head. College football coaches do not like that. That costs them penalties. They don't know if you're coachable. I get it. I know where we're from. I'm born and raised here. This is Savannah. And every snap, your pride and your passion's on the line.
Football in general, wherever you're from.
You got to be able to play in between the whistles. If someone pushes you late, take it on the chin. Next play, hit them during the whistles.
Exactly. That's what next play is.
You
Forget
have
about it. Next play. Pop them on the next play.
You have plenty of time. Plenty of plays to hit them. But we don't condone the fighting. We don't. And we've had some discussions this morning on how we're gonna go about things in the future if there is a future.
Man, we're doing a lot for y'all, bro.
Yeah.
Like I said on Carl DeMasi show, I'm sacrificing sleep for y'all. I'm up studying all of these teams. I'm trying to even branch out and study more of the other county teams. Like, I'm doing a lot for y'all. Dougal, I added Dougal to the team, so now he's adding stuff to his schedule. Don't ruin it by fighting, y'all. Like, we're doing so much for y'all. I'm trying to help y'all. But if y'all are going to be fighting, it's going to ruin my video, which is going to ruin me helping out y'all, getting y'all's clips out, me helping y'all get scouts, college coaches, just everything that we've been doing for the last 2.5 years. Everything we're doing is for y'all. I could care less what happens to me. I'm trying to help y'all out. So if y'all are going to keep fighting, bro, it's just going to ruin all of that. So we have to cut that out.
But I feel like we hit that point pretty well.
Yeah.
Hopefully the people that we were talking to this morning is watching this episode. But on that note, let's hop into it. Week 10. You are 77-14 on the overall. You've yet to have a perfect week. Let's see what you got this week. Memorial Day versus Thomas Jefferson. Memorial is 3-4 going into Thomas Jefferson. That is 1-6. Who you got?
Man, I want to say Memorial failed me on the last 2 weeks. But my dog, Coach Taylor over there, man, they going to bounce back this week. I got Memorial. Come on, let's go.
Windsor versus Pierce County. Who you got? So Pierce County 6-1 going into this.
Ooh, Man, yeah, I got Pierce County
Yeah.
on that, man.
So this one's, I think it's going to be a hard win for them if Windsor can pull it out. Friday night games, we're looking at Islands versus New Hampstead, old-time rival since we were in high school. I don't know if it's much of a rivalry anymore.
Yeah, I was about to say it was rival
people
for
gotta
us.
win. People got to win on both sides to make it a rivalry.
New
But who you got?
Hampstead is not a rival, but yeah, I got New Hampstead on this one. They about to bounce back after that Wayne County loss.
Say Jenkins takes on another tough opponent against Coffee County this week.
Yeah, Jenkins' schedule is
I would say
tough.
Jenkins' schedule is ridiculous this year.
His schedule is tough. Yeah, but I got Coffee on that one.
Say Coffee's 7-0 going into this.
Whew.
BC takes on Wayne County, which I think is going to be a great game. BC's 8-0, Wayne County 6-2.
I thought that game was in town.
I wish we could see that one.
I was so mad when I saw that game was at Wayne County. But I got BC with this one. I think BC is going to make a stand this week.
Mm-hmm.
The last, 3 games, well, last week they won by 21. But I feel like they still kind of underperformed. Yeah. It's their second half performance by the defense. So I feel like the defense has been hearing a lot of talk. So I feel like they're going to show out this week.
Yeah. So they're going to stop that run.
Yeah.
And which if BC's solid at that. When it comes to their linebackers, their defensive line, they have some dogs in there that can handle it.
Man, I wish we were there.
Say this week, Calvary takes on Savannah Country Day. Calvary 7-0, Savannah Country Day's 5-2. Who you got?
I got Calvary on this one, man. Calvary's hot.
They're hot right now. So going into Savannah Christian takes on Beach this week. Who you got?
Savannah Christian. Yeah, yeah.
Say Savannah High is going to be taking on Screven County. Don't know much about Screven, but
yeah, I don't know much about Screven, but I got Screven.
Say they're 2-5 on the season, so I guess something Savannah High don't have. St. Andrews would take on Pinewood Christian. Who you got?
Ooh, I don't know much about Pinewood Christian.
Say Pinewood Christian's 3-4. Savannah Christian's 5, or St. Andrews 5-2. I believe Pinewood Christian played someone earlier in the year.
That was like week 2. They played Country Day, but Country Day, that was an easy dub for them.
Yeah.
St. Andrews is at home. I got St. Andrews for the dub on this one.
You got St. Andrews for the dub?
Yeah.
I got you. Before we hop into the game of the week, we are going to hop into our new favorite segment called Is David Right? Probably not. But we got the questions from y'all on Instagram today. Spencer's going to be asking me them. Let's see how it goes.
All right, let's see. So the first one, what is it going to take for public school kids to stay in public schools?
This is a hard question. One, because I'm not in school anymore. I'm not in high school anymore, so I don't exactly know how the public schools are going. I do think that there is a huge gap in programs between private schools and public schools, as you can see. And I imagine part of that is funding. If you think about it, other county schools that have 1 or 2 county schools, they get all the funding. Yep. In Chatham County, we have 8, 9 public schools. They got to split that funding, which is why coaches' pays aren't as high as county schools, why our facilities aren't as nice. We are getting a lot of nice facilities now, but that is problems, and that's above our heads.
Yeah, way above our heads, yeah.
But there's definitely a gap between that, which is something that needs to be addressed. Because that's where we kind of come in. We're trying to equal that playing field when it comes to recruiting. We know that the public schools, private schools have a lot of contacts, connections up high from getting those kids up into the next level. We're trying to kind of mend that middle ground and be there for everybody as we can. But no, good question.
I feel like once they up the funding a little bit more for the public schools, that's going to really get the coaches and just everybody who's involved more passionate and really more engaged with the program. Because there's just a few people out there that you could see that's just, they're not putting their all into it. And we played the same 4 years. Sophomore year, our head coach, he was not in it. He could care less. Yeah. So we were out there just doing whatever, just playing whatever game we could come up with. So like if the coaches aren't passionate and giving it down, the kids are going to see that and they're going to give the same energy. But you got to help the coaches. You got to help the programs.
Yeah. And we talked about this on the way to the meeting this morning. We had a coach named Coach Tolles every practice, when we were stretching, this man's going around screaming, getting people hyped for practice, walkthroughs. We don't go to the practice. We're going to try next year. We're going to try to go out to a few of them, see what it's like to really get a view of just not Friday nights. But it's that passion that we saw in our coaching staff that we just don't see as much now. And when you go to the private school games, you can see it. New Hampstead's coaches are up there with the passion. I see it in them. they're willing to damn swing on refs to get the calls that they want. But it's not. I'm not saying that should happen. But it's that passion that we just don't see in all of the schools. But no, that's a good question.
One more. Who do you think has the best O-line in the city? That's tough.
That's tough, and it comes down to one. I'm not an offensive lineman. I ain't never played offensive line in my life. This question might be better for Spencer, but New Hampshire had a rough week last week on O-line. I mean, he was scrambling all night, but they did really well against BC. BC has a really solid O-line.
They do. If we're going just based off of, we're just going off of this year, the first, what are they? It's week 10. So the first 10 games of the season this year, regardless of who you're playing, because you can't help who you're playing, it might have to be Calvary's O-line, because Calvary's O-line hasn't, outside of, it might have to be Calvary's O-line. Because like you said, I've seen Savannah Christian's O-line's young, so I've seen them struggle. BC's O-line is really good, but I've seen them struggle a little bit versus Ware County and New Hampstead. We saw New Hampstead's O-line struggle last week. So Calvary. Now people will argue the competition. Yeah. But I mean, like I said, you can't fight who you play. Like you got to play who you play. So it might be Calvary.
Say I'm one. I can agree with that. I can get down with that. I say I would next year. I might say Savannah Christian if they can get back and get healthy, because that's a young O-line.
They're young.
And they have a great core that's going to be great for them the next couple of years. So I would say they're on the come up. But right now, I'm with you. Calvary's a good thing. But so we appreciate the questions. That is it for that segment. Now on to the game of the week. Groves takes on Johnson tonight. We're trying to show a little love to the Savannah teams that haven't gotten much love this year. Who you got?
It's gonna be a good one, man.
Say Johnson's 2-5, Groves is 1-6.
Yeah, this game's really just gonna come down to who can make the least amount of mistakes. Who's not gonna turn the ball over the most? Who's gonna have the least amount of penalties? But man, it's gonna be a tough one. But I got Jenkins. My fault. I got Johnson for this one.
I like it. Say, like you said, it's gonna come down to mistakes.
Yeah.
Say honestly, because these teams are both bound to make them. Say we've seen these teams play for a while. They're bound to make the mistakes. If one team can cut their mistakes down a lot, I think they'll have a huge edge on this.
And both teams are still young. They got some new coaches, so they're still just building and learning that new culture and that new system. So it's gonna be an interesting one, though, man. I'm kind of excited to see.
Say
this
they both sides have athletes. I mean, we've seen athletes on both sides at the one-on-ones. It's gonna be an interesting game. I'm excited that we finally get to go.
We finally get to see Johnson. I haven't seen Johnson yet. We saw Groves earlier versus Savannah High with a crazy game-winning touchdown. So
Johnson showed out in the one-on-ones too. So.
Yeah. Oh, I always loved Johnson. So
we're going to be out there tonight, hopefully. We'll get that phone call in a little bit.
We're going to be there. We're going to be there.
We appreciate your time on this Thursday. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram. DM us. We do like to talk to y'all, get to know the community pretty well. We did hit the 2,000 subscriber mark. Woo! That we're trying to hit. But next is 5K. Make sure we run those numbers up.
Yes, sir. Share it.
Yeah. Until possibly tonight or Tuesday episode. Peace.